Hi there, you're watching Market Cafe on ET Now with me Shreyansi Singh and Priyanka Uppal. And over the next 1 hour, we'll take you through news and updates from within the country as well as across the globe, tell you which stocks you should keep on your radar and tell you what the brokerages are saying as well. But first things first, Priyanka, we've got to take a look at the US markets, and a slight pullback is what we're seeing largely when it comes to Dow as well as the S&P 500.
Morning, Shreyansi. Absolutely. Looks like we've got a weak set of cues from US at least. Now the Dow and S&P 500, they both slipped from their recent records high. Let's not forget that both the indices have been on a spree to make records. In fact, yesterday also they were, Monday also they made a fresh record high. Now there was some sort of pullback. Both the indices lost close to same mark. They lost nearly 0.75%. Nasdaq lost 1%, though Nasdaq is still less than 2% from its record high. Now, tech stocks, majorly the semiconductor stocks in particularly, they weighted on the S&P 500 and Nasdaq. Tech sector itself slid 1.8% on Tuesday, and with that, Nvidia fell more than 4% yesterday. Talking about the earnings report, which has been mixed so far this week, with solid reports coming in from major banks. That was, in fact, the early signs which we got from banks, and that lifted the market sentiment last week also. But now that has been somewhat offset by weak outlook from firms like United Health Group. Now today, Morgan Stanley as well as Abbott, they are two notable reports which are due out before the market opens there today. Shreyansi.
Well, absolutely, and there's a lot to watch out for when it comes to the US markets, but in fact there's also a lot to watch out for when it at least comes to the oil prices, because when you take a look at US crude futures, you're looking at a decline coming in of just about 4%, and that's the sort of move that we saw coming in. So quite the plunge when it comes to US crude. Oil did pull back from those October highs as well. When you take a look at price levels, then you're looking at WTI, a downtick of about 4.4% coming in, or $3.2 thereabout. $70 per barrel is where that one was at. When you take a look at Brent as well, you're looking at a decline, similar decline coming in of about 4.1% coming in for Brent as well. Year to date, that benchmark has also declined more than 3%. So that's the update there, and this of course is after Israel also reportedly told the US that it is not planning to strike Iran's oil facilities, relieving fears that a major supply disruption in the Middle East is on the horizon. Now this is something that the market was really watching out for, and this is something that had kept the oil market on its toes. So that is something that we were watching out for. Now of course oil prices, like I mentioned, have pulled back significantly from the highs reached on Iran's October 1st attack as well. Israel has of course refrained from hitting back so far, and that is the kind of move that we've seen, at least when it comes to oil. When you take a look at gold as well, you're looking at gains coming in on the flip side though for gold. So you do have a 0.6% uptick coming in for gold, but that largely is the handover when it comes to oil as well as gold.
Absolutely. In fact, that was a major headline which came in from the macro front, from the global environment. But then let's move on. Keeping it with the oil only, as is a top story, according to the International Energy Agency, world oil market is headed for a sizable surplus in the new year, as it reassured markets that the agency stood ready to act if required to cover any supply disruptions from Iran. Now, the agency, like OPEC, has already cut its global demand growth forecast for the year, citing weakness in the China. Now, the Paris Space Agency now expects Chinese demand to grow by only 150,000 barrels per day in 2024, after consumption dropped by nearly 5 lakh PDP in August, which is comparison to the last month of last year, same month for the last year. Now, the fourth consecutive month of decline this particular news marks with.
Well, absolutely, and let's kickstart our coverage this morning then with commentary coming in from the Federal Reserve. Atlanta President Raphael Bostic said he penciled in just one more interest rate reduction of 25 basis points this year when he updated his projections for last month's US Central Bank meeting. However, he also added that his projections are not set in stone, and that approach will continue to be data dependent in the days to come as well. Meanwhile, when you take a look at commentary coming in from San Francisco President Mary Daly, she also talked about how 1 to 2 more rate cuts this year might be on the cards, while noting that even with last month's rate cut, monetary policy is still working to bring inflation pressures down. Now, Daly also believes that the current Fed stance is still restraining the economy. So that largely is the kind of commentary that we're getting this morning, Priyanka, from the Fed.
All right, and meanwhile, according to the New York Fed report, Americans no longer expect higher inflation over the longer run, as their expectation of credit turbulence rose to the highest level since April April 2020. Now, the report said that the inflation a year from now is seen holding steady at 3%. 3 years from now, it was seen at 2.7%. From August, 2.5% estimate, and at 2.9% in 5 years, from 2.8% in the August. This is all fine. These findings are from that survey. Meanwhile, the report found that expected credit delinquency rates continued to rise and hit the highest level in over 4 years.
Moving on, then, Bank of America reported strong third quarter results in a rather challenging environment with revenue of $25.5 billion and net income of $6.9 billion. After tax, the bank's net interest income grew by 2% this quarter, confirming earlier predictions of a bottom in Q2 2024. Now, the bank's net interest income growth and increased consumer payments indicate stable economic conditions despite consumer concerns about living costs as well. Looking ahead, though, Bank of America expects continued growth in net interest income as well.
Okay, talking about the earnings only, Goldman Sachs Q3 profits beat estimates. This was majorly fueled by the rebound in the bond sales. Now, the stock offerings and even the mergers that sent its share up more than 3%. CEO David Solomon, he flagged significant pent-up demand from clients in the days to come. The bank's deal backlog rose in the third quarter, which is driven by its advisory business.
Alright, then moving on, athleisure giant Adidas raises its full-year sales and profit guidance, citing better than expected performance in the third quarter and good brand momentum as it benefits from demand for its retro three-striped Samba and Gazelle shoes. Remember, the sportswear brand has raised its forecast for the third time this year, saying it now expected currency-neutral revenues to increase by around 10% this year, having previously forecast a high single-digit rate. Meanwhile, when you take a look at LVMH, that reported a slight decline in revenue for the third quarter of 2024, reflecting challenges in key markets as well as shifting consumer dynamics.
Okay, and then shares in semiconductor equipment maker ASML, that fell 16% after the Dutch company published financial results a day early. Issuing disappointing sales forecasts, the move pulled other chip stocks also lower, with Nvidia falling more than 4%, Advanced Micro Devices, Broadcom, all falling after the report. ASML said it expects net sales for 2025 to come in between 30 billion euros and 35 billion euros, at the lower half of the range it had previously provided.
And as the biggest test of Modi and Shah in 2024, as the dates for the assembly polls of Maharashtra and Jharkhand have been announced by the Election Commission of India, and India's richest state, Maharashtra, votes on November 20th. Remember, the election will be conducted in a single phase across the 288 seats in 36 districts, and results will be declared on the 23rd of November as well. We also caught up with journalist and political commentator Neerja Chaudhary and senior journalist Dilip Chavre to understand the impact of the upcoming Maharashtra elections. Let's go across and listen to what they had to say then.
You cannot emphasize the importance of Maharashtra assembly polls enough. Not only because it has 48 Lok Sabha seats, second largest state, not only because it's a financial hub of the country, but also because what happens in Maharashtra is going to give a psychological advantage, a political advantage to either side, whoever wins. If the BJP wins, and it comes after Haryana, then they will say the defeat of 2024 Lok Sabha elections, not getting a majority on their own, would be offset. That can be forgotten. They are now back in business as usual. If the Mahavikas Aghadi, the India bloc, they get Maharashtra this time, then Haryana will be forgotten. That means BJP is on the downhill, and that will affect the leadership. It will affect the coalition partners. It will affect the whole, whole business of governance.
Factor in favor of the Mahayuti, that is the BJP, the Shiv Sena led by Eknath Shinde, and the NCP led by Ajit Pawar. One factor in their favor will be that this is the first election in Maharashtra where 6 parties will be struggling for each vote. So the division of votes will determine the outcome in Maharashtra. The present situation in Haryana shows that there is not much of a difference in vote share between the BJP and the Congress party. In the Lok Sabha election also in Maharashtra, the Mahayuti and the Mahavikas Aghadi vote share was, there was a very narrow margin between the vote shares. So this time every seat, every candidate and every policy that each side adopts is going to be important. In Maharashtra at present, the main issue which is providing ammunition to the opposition is the law and order situation and the Maratha factor.
And in fact, another state election in focus as Jharkhand is also geared up for its poll battle. Polls will be held in two phases on 13th November and 20th November. The results will be declared on 23rd of November. 43 seats will go for polls in phase 1, whereas 38 seats will go for polls in the second phase. The state has 81 seats in total. Remember, this recent term of assembly will end on 5th January 2025, and the ruling JMM Congress alliance is up against NDA, which has BJP as well as Janata Dal and all Jharkhand Students Union together.
Well, absolutely, and it does look like it's raining updates when it comes to the political landscape, because the by-polls in Kerala's Wayanad Lok Sabha seat will also take place on the 13th of November, and the results will be announced on 23rd November as well. The Wayanad seat was vacated by leader of the opposition Rahul Gandhi, who won from both Rai Bareli and Wayanad seats. After that, Congress declared Priyanka Gandhi as the party's nominee for Wayanad. So that's an important update and an election to watch out for there as well.
Absolutely. So a lot of action coming in from the political fraternity. We stay for a short break here. More to come on the other side of the break. We get you the cues from Asian market and also tell you how's Gift Nifty right now.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, as promised, let's take a look at the Asian cues then. In Asia Pacific markets largely opened lower. When you take a look at Japan's Nikkei on your screens, extending those losses, downtick of about 1.7% coming in for that one. Let's also take a quick look at South Korea's Kospi, because that one is also holding on to that shade of red coming in. Kospi is the one that I'm talking about. 0.7% declines coming in for that one as well on your screens. When you take a look at Hong Kong's Hang Seng as well, slight shade of red there as well. And that's also extending losses after the index lost 3.7% in the previous session as well. When you take a look at ASX 200 though, that also started the day lower, currently holding on to those losses, 0.2% downtick coming in for that one as well. Let's also take a quick look at Shanghai and see what that one is up to as well. Last I checked, of course, Shanghai is the one that is holding on to that shade of green just a tad bit at this point. But largely when you take a look at the rest of the Asian markets, you're looking at a downtick coming in, especially for Nikkei. That is the one that is down about 1.7% as we speak right now. Now, of course, Nifty shut shop around that 25,000 level, and currently what is being penciled in is a subdued start. So let's really see how that really pans out for us. Not a very good handover coming in from either Asia or Wall Street, so it doesn't look like it's going to be a very good day for us.
Looks like Gift Nifty is indicating a soft start. In fact, 83 points down, it's saying. But then a lot of cues which is to come in from the Asian market. China, another set of stimulus which on which they have a crucial meeting on Thursday. Let's see what kind of cues we get it from there. But in the meantime, we'll stay for a short break here.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, let's get you some more news and updates. And of course, in a protest that has been going on for over a month at the Samsung manufacturing plant near Chennai, the protesting workers have yesterday called off the strike. The 36-day strike has finally been called off by the workers, and all the workers are likely to resume work very soon. In fact, my colleague Sameer Dixit is standing by with more details. Sameer, tell us a little bit more about this protest and why this was called off then.
The big protest that has been going on for over a month at Samsung manufacturing plant near Chennai, it has finally come to an end. The protesters, the Samsung workers, those who are protesting, they have called off the strike and has announced that they will resume to work very soon. Now, this protest that has come to an end, it became possible all after the discussion that was held between Tamil Nadu state government, Samsung management and the labor union. So they all agreed upon a couple of points, and after which the strike has been called off. And the fourth major point after the discussion that came to light, the first major point is that the protesting workers, they will resume to work very soon. Secondly, the Samsung management will not victimize the workers, those who participated in the protest. So no victimization will be done by the management. Third point is that yes, the workers, the protesting workers, they will act in the benefit as per the Samsung management or the larger goal that management has. They will act accordingly. And fourth point is that the Samsung management will submit or they will file a written reply to the charter of demand that has been raised by the worker union or the workers, that what all their demands are, and based on which they will file a written reply. So this all started on 9th of September, the day when this protest started. So this 36-day long protest was actually a trigger point where initially the workers, those who were protesting, they raised a demand for better working environment. They demanded for increased in wages, and also they demanded for the formation of a workers union. So that was the major demand that was raised from their side, based on which the protest went on for almost about 37 days, and finally it has come to an end. Major of the demands have been met by Samsung management. They have assured to increase the wages. They have also committed to improve the working environment, and now to other demands, the Samsung management will file a written reply.
The strike comes to a close now with the demands being met. Thanks very much for the update, Samir. Moving on, the 4-day India Mobile Congress commenced yesterday with Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurating the event. Now, which will see presentations on 5G use cases, artificial intelligence, cloud computing and everything which is tech related. Stakeholders from the industry as well as government were present on day one of the event. PM also inaugurated the World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly under a body of the United Nations. Now, ET Now's Sumit Chaturvedi brings us the ground report from the flagship event of mobile and IT industry in India.
Day one of the India Mobile Congress in New Delhi, and many themes have been discussed by Prime Minister Modi and telecom czars of India. The biggest theme was of digital revolution in India. It is no surprise that India has been at the forefront of digital transformation of the world, and in India also. Well, telecom companies' bosses, well, they said that how India has gone from 2G to 5G and now moving towards 6G in very short span of time. Telecom companies also discussed how India is becoming a manufacturing hub for mobile phones. PM Modi emphasized how India's overall manufacturing journey in mobile phone has been there from just 2 companies before 2014, now around 200 companies there. Also, PM Modi emphasized India is going to be a big power in semiconductor industry, and that's why many steps in that direction are being taken. Also, UPI is a big thing in India that has been made possible because of mobile phone. In India, UPI is huge, and it has also contributed a lot to bringing many people out of poverty, because a lot of subsidy money goes into the beneficiaries account directly. So a number of themes were discussed at India Mobile Congress today. Well, telecom czars including Bharti Enterprises, Sunil Bharti, Mittal Kumar, Mangalam Birla of Birla Group, and Akash Ambani of Reliance Info Geocom. They all were here. They committed that they will be there in the journey of India's digital transformation, and mobile handsets and telecom revolution is one such enabler. This is Sumit Chaturvedi signing off from India Mobile Congress, New Delhi for ET Now.
Absolutely, Sumit. And day one of the India Mobile Congress also saw top industry leaders sharing their vision for the future of technology as well. Bharti Enterprises, Sunil Bharti Mittal also suggested that satellite companies should also secure networks like telcos do, while KM Birla reaffirmed the company's commitment to CAPEX. Then let's go across and listen into what the telecom titans then had to say about the telecom space that might be dialing it up a notch.
Satellite companies who have ambitions to come into urban areas serving elite retail customers just need to take the telecom licenses like everybody else. Be bound with the same conditions. They need to buy the spectrum as the telecom companies buy. They need to pay the license fee as the telecom companies do, and also secure their networks like telecom companies do. This is a simple solution which can be done on a global scale, and India can again show the way in this particular regard.
The company's 18,000 crore FPO, marking the largest of its kind in India, was met with overwhelming enthusiasm. It was oversubscribed 7 times overall and an astonishing 19 times amongst institutional investors. Fundraise has enabled the company to kickstart again its capex cycle. Vodafone Idea has already announced the next phase of capex detail worth $3.6 billion with 3 global partners, Nokia, Ericsson, and Samsung.
The scale and speed of multilingual data generation in India, which will drive the AI revolution, will grow exponentially. We request the government to expedite the updating of the 2020 draft of the data center policy that Indian data should remain in India data centers. Therefore, Indian companies ready to set up AI and machine learning data centers should get all necessary incentives, including incentives for power consumption.
All right, now moving on the sidelines of this event, ET Now's Sumit Chaturvedi, he caught up with Telangana IT Minister Sridhar Babu on the initiatives taken by state in the field of technology. Let's listen into the special slice.
We have to become, ultimately, our goal and aim and vision of the state of Telangana is to become AI global capital for everybody. So this is where we just started, and we have gone on to have a very big international symposium on AI. The main objective of that AI conference was to sensitize our people how AI will invade us tomorrow in all streams of life. Not only in part of governance, not only in part of industry, but every stream of life. So we just thought of sensitizing our own people, our own citizens of our state, how AI can make an impact in their streams of life, one. And secondly, how the second point here is how we can really harness, this new technology tool to help to increase the efficiency and productivity.
Talking about certain initiatives you have taken, like connecting televisions as desktop in the state, what is that initiative and what are other such initiatives you taking?
Yeah, this is basically what I would like to mention here is, we have a solid, in the BharatNet program, where initial phase of BharatNet, where they have connected about 3 districts. Later on, the government of Telangana was so proactive and taking the help and the cooperation from the center, we invested about 3,000 crores in laying the duct and also laying the fiber all through our state of Telangana.
Alright, then let's keep it going with commentary. Then Karnataka IT Minister Priyank Kharge has clarified on the much debated 14-hour work policy proposal. In fact, talking to ET Now, he said that the policy is only for certain sectors. He also spoke about the need of a level playing field for all of these states. Listen into this conversation that he had with ET Now's Sumita Kareer then.
Well, see, I think firstly you need to provide a conducive environment for incubation for these companies, number one. Number two, you need to have extremely friendly policies. That also we have, whether it is space tech or whether it's for quantum computing or animation or gaming. We need to ensure that we build a proper pyramid of skills, incubation, topped up with innovation, then tops up with policies. Otherwise it does not work, is what I strongly believe. And we have been doing that. So that is the reason why we have close to around 45% of all the unicorns from my state. We are the top 5 globally AI cities. We are also the 4th largest startup ecosystem. It didn't happen overnight, and we are ensuring that we maintain that by providing the right set of skills, incubation facilities, like I said earlier, right policies. Yes, so that's the way to go forward.
And so with regard to what you've spoken about, what are your expectations from the central government on the kind of support that you need, that you expect from the central government to drive investments into the state, and so that Karnataka can take the mantle even further when it comes to IT and tech?
Well, if the central government is willing to provide us with a level playing field, I'm sure that Karnataka will bag more than it is getting now. But unfortunately, it is not a level playing field anymore like how it used to be a decade back. Certain states are favored more or pushed down the throats of the private sectors or industries to go to certain states only. So, and that is hampering the growth and the growth of the sectors for the country.
And I do hope that that is being heard. One final question, sir. There was a lot of back and forth so far as working hours are concerned. Industry trade associations had said that, Karnataka government might be looking at a bill so far as that 14-hour work timing was concerned.
It's a misconceived notion that we are asking for 14 hours. In fact, there was a very nicely done frequently asked questions in Economic Times from the Bangalore editors, wherein it was very specific that it is industry specific ask. The Labour Department needs to approve of it, and it is for certain manufacturing companies only based on permission. It's not that everybody is this thing. We are not trying to create sweatshops here.
All right, now moving on, government is all set to expand its approved list of models as well as manufacturers for procuring equipments. Let's go across to this report my colleague Prakash Pradarshi has filed.
Yes, an important development coming in for the renewable energy sector as the government is expanding the approved list of models and manufacturers for procuring equipments. We're given to understand that the amendments have been proposed in approved list of models and manufacturers for procurement of solar PV cells, a very significant development coming in. In fact, the government is expecting that the installed capacity of solar PV cells will increase significantly in next 2 years, and therefore necessary amendments are being made to meet domestic requirement. Along with that, it has been proposed to issue list 2 of solar PV cells under approved list of models and manufacturers, and new list has to be effective from April 1, 2026. Along with that, if you look at the proposed amendments, all projects falling under purview of approved list of models and manufacturers will have to procure equipments from the manufacturers enlisted in the list. However, projects will be exempted from mandatory procurement if the last date of bid submission is before issuance of the order. In fact, the government has also invited stakeholder comments on the draft proposal, and and the comments will be taken into consideration before finalizing the list. And these efforts are being made to meet domestic requirement of solar PV cells going forward.
All right, thanks Prakash for that update coming in. Time for a very quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at the stocks that you should keep on your radar, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, let's get to the futures and options roundup, and Ansha is standing by with just that roundup.
Yes, so let's start with what FIs did in index future. So in previous session, we saw that they have actually covered their longs by around 4,600 contracts. They have added also some shorts by around 2,800 contracts, due to which the net position has gone down by around almost 7,500 contracts. Now, due to this, their total long position has inched lower to 34.7%, which is at 87 session low. This indicates that they continue to be bearish in market. Now, if we talk about Nifty, then the story is different, because on chart we are saying that Nifty has been in a sideways trend. It has been hovering around that 50 DMA from last 8 to 9 session, indicating a strong sideways trend around this level. Also, if we talk about index options, then we are seeing very strong call writing happening at that 25,200 strike, indicating strong resistance around this level. With this, the PCR is around 0.5, which indicates that there's very heavy call writing happening at higher strikes. Well, this is a negative sign, but also a positive sign, because if we see any spike in the market on upside, then this traders who have short positions in the market, they'll have to cover the position, which will give pressure in the market on upside. Now, if we talk about Nifty Bank, then Nifty Bank had actually given a breakout from that 50 DMA 2 sessions back, and in yesterday we saw that Nifty Bank has been sustaining above that 50 DMA, which is a positive sign for the banking stock. But in index options, we are seeing that mild call writing is happening at that 52,000 strike option, indicating some resistance around this level. Let's switch our focus to FNO stocks that are in focus, and we are seeing significant long build-up happening in Deepak Nitrite, PVR and Balrampur Chini. Also short build-up is happening in Bajaj Auto, Hindustan Steel and Reliance Industries. So keep an eye on the stocks.
All right, thanks very much, Ansh. So let's see if the banking stocks will charge the rally, or in fact they will charge up the sentiment today. For now, it looks like we are in for a soft start. Thanks very much for all that FNO data. Now, Ria is also joining us with all the stocks that could be buzzing in trade today on the back of some news. Ria, morning.
Yes, good morning. So let's take a look at the stocks that are going to be in focus today. First up, we have KEI Industries reporting their Q2 FY25 numbers. Now, they've reported a good set of numbers here. The revenue has gone up around 17.2% over the previous year, crossing the rupees 2,000 crore mark. The EBITDA and net profit as well have gone up around 9% and 10% respectively over the previous year. If you take a look at the EBITDA margins, though, those have declined by around 72 basis points, coming in at 9.7% this quarter. And on this front, KEI has also approved a QIP fundraise of up to rupees 2,000 crores. So we're keeping an eye out on that stock. We also have Rallis India reporting their Q2 FY25 numbers. The revenue went up around 18.5% on a sequential basis. Even the net profit actually saw a very significant jump of 104% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, coming in at rupees 98 crores versus 48 crores in the last quarter. The EBITDA also saw a significant jump of 73% on a QOQ basis, and the EBITDA margin also saw an expansion of 563 basis points in a sequential basis, coming in at 17.9% in this quarter. Let's also talk about Cochin Shipyard, though, for which the President of India, through the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, has announced that the government is looking to sell up to 5% of stake in the company. This offer is going to open for the non-retail investors on the 16th of October, that is today, and for retail investors it is going to open tomorrow on the 17th. The floor price for this offer has been set at rupees 1,540, which is a discount of 7.9% to the current closing price of yesterday. We also have Adani Enterprises in focus, since they have raised rupees 4,200 through a QIP, and they have approved the allotment of 1.4 crore equity shares of face value rupees 1 each for this QIP. Now the issue price was rupees 2,962, which was a discount of around 5% to the floor price. The names of the allottees have also come out. We have Quant Mutual Fund at 47%, Windrow Commercial at 12.5%, and the likes of Treeline Asia Master Fund and SBI Life around 5% each. Let's also talk about Capri Global, though, which is in focus since they have entered a green financing agreement with Rooftop Solar Finance, and they've partnered with Credit Fair as the loan service providers, and they are aiming to build a separate rupees 1,000 crore loan book in the coming years. We also have Central Bank in focus today, since the CCI has approved the acquisition of 24.91% shareholding in Future Generali India Insurance and 25.18% shareholding in Future Generali India Life Insurance by the Central Bank of India. Lastly, we're also keeping an eye out on Railtel Corporation, since they have received a work order from the Maharashtra Housing and Area Development Authority for projects amounting to rupees 79.84 crores. So keeping an eye out on all of these stocks today.
Absolutely, there you have it. So that's the list of stocks that are likely to be in focus on account of news flow as well as their earnings update. But let's also get to the list of stocks that brokerages then are keeping on their radar. Gaurav is standing by with that list.
Well, yes, let's begin our list today with telecom companies, because HSBC has now hiked the target price for a few. So first, let's talk about Bharti Airtel, where they have hiked the target price to 1,950 rupees while also upgrading the rating to buy. And at the same time, for Vodafone Idea, they have upgraded the target price marginally almost to 7.1 rupees. What they're saying is that the ARPU is going to rise, and this is what they believe is that we may see next tariff hike in FY27, which can boost ARPU. And at the same time, home broadband market, which they are estimating at around 7 billion USD, is also going to boost the earnings for the companies. Apart from that, let's also focus on BSC, because Jefferies has now downgraded the rating to underperform and also given the target price of 3,500 rupees on this counter. What they're saying is that the recent run-up that we have seen in the stock is actually factoring in the market share gain from BSC. What they believe is that the assumption of market gain is over-optimistic from the investors, and the risk-reward ratio for BSC has now turned unfavorable, and that is why they have now given underperform rating on this counter. So definitely watching out on BSE. And lastly, let's also watch out for HDFC AMC. So yesterday we saw a good set of numbers from the company, and today we are seeing brokerages actually hiking the target price. So we have got Nuvama who maintained buy rating but hiked the target price to 5,240 rupees. What they say is that the stellar run continues for company. The quarterly AUM, average AUM, if you look at it, that increased almost by 64% on a YY basis. And at the same time, management has indicated that their focus is on building out a strong alternative businesses. Other than that, we also have other brokerages like Jeffries who hiked the target price to 5,450 rupees on this counter. CLSA also upgraded the rating and hiked the target price for HDFC AMC. So definitely watching out on this counter on the back of the bullish view coming up from AMCs on HDFC.
Thanks very much. A bullish view coming on HDFC AMC and the list of stocks where brokerages have given their views. Thanks very much, Gaurav, for sharing all the details. Moving on, in fact, ISG, which is a global IT company, after a prolonged downturn, now it seems that the IT business, that company has reached new highs in Q3. Let's get you some takeaways from the call which happened. Now, their managed services ACV, that has grew for the second consecutive quarter. Now, that stands at 5%. That's a Y-on-Y figure, and it's a record high of $10.9 billion. In fact, there was a robust growth in their EMEA, which is owing to mega deals majorly. This is up 36% on Y-on-Y basis. Though their BFSI segment, that remained weak, that was down by 11% YTD basis. And as a service ACV, that showed strong growth for the third consecutive quarter with growth of 23% Y-on-Y. This figure is, and 7% quarterly basis. After 5 straight quarters of decline also. They've maintained their managed service growth guidance also, which is at 2% for Y&Y, and a service growth guidance at 14% Y&Y in 2024, with stronger growth expected in 2025 also.
Well, absolutely, and there's lots that we're keeping on our radar as well, because on the earnings front also, there's Bajaj Auto that is likely to report its Q2 numbers. That is the one that we're watching out for. In fact, Srishti is standing by with the update on what really the street is penciling in.
Well, not much of a weakness is expected onto the numbers, but definitely the margins will be the key to track, because the main highlight for Bajaj Auto in this particular quarter is the difference in the mix, because after many quarters, the mix has changed for Bajaj Auto. This time we are getting to see that there is more contribution from the likes of the CNG and the recently launched CNG bike that could actually impact the mix, while for Pulsar, the sales have taken a back seat for a bit, and all of this could actually impact the margins, where we are expecting not much of a jump. 20.1% is our expectation, which will be a marginal jump on a YY basis, but just a flat margin on a quarter-on-quarter basis. But barring the margins, we can expect a double-digit growth on all the rest of the numbers. Look at the revenue. We are expecting at 13,305 crores on the top line. EBITDA expected at 2,673 crores, while the profit is expected to see a jump of 11% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, which is not bad, at 2,198 crore rupees. Now, where's the push coming from is indeed the domestic market sales, where the domestic sales have seen a jump of 22% on a YY basis. Average selling price has also been up, and the export have also seen a revival. So all in all, a decent set expected. But going ahead, the festive season sales demand and the CNG newly launched bike, how are the sales penciling in for that, are the key monitorables. Back to you.
Would be on the radar, not the bet. So expectations are not that muted for Bajaj Auto, at least. What we see in terms of the entire sector, that looks a little moving towards a slowdown. But that's a wrap on Market Cafe. Let's see how market opens. Right now, it looks like a soft start, but are we in for a recovery mode, or it will consolidate on the level? We'll watch it out.
There comes a time when your heart calls for you to arise. Plant your feet solid into the ground. Decide your own limits, and then break right through them. Become something more. It's my time to rise.
Hyundai Motor India Limited now proposes an initial public offering of its equity shares. The 100% book built offer is being offered at a price band of Rs 1,865 to Rs 1,960 per equity share of face value of Rs 10 each. The anchor investor offer period opens and closes on Monday, October 14th, 2024. Offer opens on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Offer closes on Thursday, October 17th, 2024. For risk involved and other details, please refer to the red herring prospectus, which is available on the website of the company, SEBI, BRLMs and the stock exchanges.